Welcome to the Off-Grid Podcast, powered by Retreat Caravans. Join us as we dive into the incredible stories of caravanners who've embraced the open road and the off-grid lifestyle. Welcome to another episode of the Off-Grid Podcast. And today I have got an absolute treat for you. I've got Macca from the TV series What's Up Down Under joining me on the Off-Grid Podcast. Macca, how are you?
I am well, thank you, Tilly. A little nervous, but I am well, thank you.
No need to be nervous, mate. I know that you know exactly how this rolls. I know you're normally the one given the questions and someone else is answering them. So how does that feel, not knowing exactly what questions are coming?
What do you reckon I'm nervous about, Tilly?
I can smell it from here.
That's not nerves.
Well, Macca, in all honesty, thank you for taking the time out of your very busy lifestyle. I know you've got a lot going on in your life with What's Up Down Under and everything else that you do, which we'll get to. So, yeah, thank you very much, mate, for joining us.
My pleasure, mate. Anytime.
Now, Macca, this is the Off-Grid Podcast, and, we want to share experiences of off-grid living. And I don't think there's probably too many people that have traveled around Australia more than what you have. Can you please tell some of our viewers, how many times have you been around Australia?
Oh, look, I actually don't know the answer to that because I don't kind of just hop in and start doing laps. So you sort of do little bits and bobs and look, I don't know, but some places I've been to 3 or 4 times, and some places I've been to once. So yeah, if I linked all the little lines together, I've probably been around 3 or 4 times, I suppose.
That's a pretty good lap.
Yeah, I'm getting giddy, mate. I have to go back the other way now.
Now, have you ever done it in reverse? Hey, there's an idea.
I've never done it sober.
There's an idea.
We probably should edit that.
Now, Macca, your off-grid journeys that you've gone on with What's Up Down Under obviously wasn't the first opportunity that you had with caravans. You were in the industry as a manufacturer. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're right. That's how I kind of ended up doing this. I used to build manufacture camper trailers many years ago, and I sort of made a video about them once, and then it ended up here we are, but I don't manufacture camper trailers anymore, and I just get to use everyone else's stuff like your good gear, mate. No worries at all.
Now, obviously, we will talk about camper trailers and the progression into, caravans and hybrid caravans and that sort of stuff very shortly. But how did you progress from, realistically, who gave you your first opportunity to be the host of What's Up Down Under, and how did that actually happen, that specific time frame?
Mate, look, I guess if you could take the step right back. I mean, I grew up camping with my family when I was a kid, and then mum and dad, the normal progression that most families do. You start off because the budget only allows the tent, and off you go. And then eventually we moved into a caravan when I was probably, I don't know, about 10 or 12 or something like that. And we caravanned instead. So it was always in my blood. And even like, so when I joined the workforce, I did an apprenticeship as a carpenter first off, and building industry was always boom or bust, as it still is. So I found myself traveling when it was bust to go out west and find work. Work in the bush. So I'd go out and find that. And so, the bush has always been in my blood. And then I sort of stumbled into the industry through that because I had a camper trailer to live in when I traveled, because I think it made me more attractive to the bosses, not because of my looks, because they didn't have to find me a bed when I got there. So then I started mucking around with it and modifying things and eventually manufacturing them. And that's how I stumbled into this. But for What's Up Down Under in particular, often people ask me this question, and I have to say, if anyone ever tells you that going and getting right on the grog with someone doesn't lead to anything positive, I met the owners and executive producers of What's Up Down Under at a conference down in Tasmania, actually, about it'd be 10 years ago. And I had a beer with them that turned into several beers, and that turned into several days of several beers. And then I got a phone call about a week later saying, "Hey, would you like to come and work on our TV show?" And I went, "Oh, well, I wasn't expecting that phone call."
It's amazing how it all happens, and it's always a beer in hand, isn't it, that makes the deal done.
And it kind of works for me, mate. I don't know
You know
if
what
it
I
works.
reckon they would have done, Macca? Because I remember when I came up to a What's Up Done Under video shoot, the tough test I think I came up to, we were nestled in a hotel somewhere in country South Australia, and the television went on, and I see this strapping young lad selling drill bits.
It's just my dark period.
Yeah, no, well, no, definitely.
Oh.
You were selling drill bits like you could sell ice to Eskimos, mate.
Well, I wasn't selling ice to Eskimos. I was selling drill bits to you at that moment.
Yeah. Well, you definitely sold yourself to Colin Wazza because, you know, they saw something in either those drill bits or the way that you handled a conversation at a pub and thought we could leverage from this guy.
Yeah. Well, I did 3 seasons of a show on Foxtel prior to that.
Oh, I think I've seen that. Is that Girls Gone Wild?
Girls Gone Wild. That's the one, mate. I didn't wear clothes, and it was, of course, before I made a few changes physically. We won't go into that.
You trimmed the beard up a little bit, right?
Yeah, mate. Trimmed everything.
The old number one all over.
Yeah, head to toe.
No, well, listen, obviously it's led you to where you are now. And I don't think the caravan industry would be the same without you, to be honest. And I know you've got a lot of good co-hosts with you that work with you, but, you know, I think when people think What's Up Down Under, you know, they associate your face with What's Up Down Under. So, you know, it's a good little legacy to have, I guess.
Right, thank you. But it is, and you know, you mentioned the co-host, but it's the whole team really that put it together. I'm lucky enough to be the guy that pops in front of the camera and, like you said, people recognize, but it's the whole team that put the show together. So I couldn't do what I do without them, that's for sure.
That's 100%. You know, and, you know, people say, Till, you know, you're really good on camera and that sort of stuff, but without our team putting all this together, you know, the editing team is probably our best friends. The shows wouldn't be what they are. Now, Mac, I've got a question for you, buddy.
All that inappropriate stuff that you say would have to go to air, mate, and that's no good.
Yeah, 100%. Now, I have a question for you.
Sure.
How many blue shirts do you own? Is it a Marge Simpson situation where you open up the closet and it's just blue shirt, blue shirt, blue shirt all the way?
It is actually is, yeah. I laugh about it and occasionally I'll show someone, but yeah, I got there's probably right now there's probably about 14 blue shirts hanging in the wardrobe side by side.
That's unbelievable.
Sort of filter them 14. Through as they get a bit ratty, they go out and the new one.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes we go away on shits, you don't get the opportunity to wash all the time, so you've got to have a few.
Well, you've got 2 for every single day, so you've thought about it.
Yeah, well, that's because I've dribbled my lunch on myself all the time.
Now, where are you? Where are you heading right now? Obviously, I can see you're in a car.
Yeah, well, I am. I'm sitting in a Chev in a car park at a truck stop in Newcastle. I'm on my way to Brisbane. I just finished filming in Melbourne yesterday.
Yep.
And making a mile to get up to Brisbane. We've got a trip going from Brisbane out to Lightning Ridge and then back to the Sunshine Coast. And then I'll jump straight back in and drive up to Katherine to start a trip across the to the Kimberley, to Broome, Katherine to Broome. So I do spend a bit of quality time at the steering wheel, but I'm not complaining. I get a bit of peace while I'm driving.
Yeah, absolutely. And in all honesty, how long in a year are you away from home?
Mate, that varies. I mean, it's tough. This year's been really busy, but the last couple of years, of course, with COVID and being really difficult to get across borders has been different. So we had to get a bit creative, I suppose, and come up with some episodes that repurposed and reused a bit of footage from old episodes and things like that to try and make it all work in between when we could actually get across the border and then take the punt as to whether you're going to get back or not. So, but look, on average, because I work on more than just What's Up Down Under. I work on What's Up Down Under, Tough Tested, and I did for the first time this year camper deals.
Yes.
When you add all those together, plus going to the caravan shows and all that sort of good stuff, I always say around about 9 months of the year, but it's probably closer to 10 that I'm actually on the road.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, I know. I like it.
It's a lot of pubs too.
Mow the lawn, mate.
Say that again.
You don't have to mow the lawn when you're away.
Absolutely. I reckon the elbow gets a bit of a workout in those 10 months too.
What are you trying to say, mate?
I was talking about having some beers. It might not look like it, but I was talking about having some beers. Oh,
Well,
okay. You can take the boy out of the bush, but you can't take the bush out of the boy, eh?
Hey,
Macca, tell us, with the off-grid lifestyle, are you starting to see at the caravan shows, on your shoots that you do, are you starting to see a big transition to off-grid living?
oh yeah, 100%. And it fascinates me. I love it. I love to see people going out there. But I often think, as I said before, when I was a kid, we went camping, and like back then, off grid was just called camping. That's what we all did, because you had nothing, like there was no power, and it was basic, and used words like roughing it. And the irony of it is, when you look back across that progression, so we've gone from, that's how people escaped. Escapism. That's what we do. We go and get away from. We go camping.
Pretty much.
And then we wanted more comfort. So the caravans just got bigger and flasher and full of everything
a
we
lot
want.
more stuff in them.
Yeah, but clearly, all we really wanted was to get away from it all. So now we've still got everything that's big and flash, and it's got everything we wanted. That's cool. We didn't have to give anything up, and now we're back to that thing. And I guess the ultimate word is freedom. That's what we're looking for, and we want to get away from it all. Like we've always said, get away from it all. Go camping, and now we get away from it all and we go caravanning, but we get to get away from it all without sacrificing any luxuries. It's quite a remarkable transition when you look across it.
And God knows what it's going to bring in the future. Obviously, there's a lot more platforms now that are going all electric. So people now, they want to go get away from it, like you're saying, but they can't get away with it without their coffee machine, their hair dryers, and all that sort of stuff. So, there's a lot of people making their dreams come true by allowing them to have that platform. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future. Watch your space.
I completely agree. And I'm looking forward to watching it more, because things like satellite coming in now, you could literally set up if you could work from home, you can work in your caravan in the middle of absolutely nowhere. As long as you can put in the tanks and food in the fridge, you're there indefinitely. It's quite remarkable. It's cool to watch.
I agree, Macca. Now, if you were building a caravan for yourself, right, what is it that, because obviously you've stayed in a fair few, what is it that you would put in there if you had the mindset of, I'm a brand new customer looking at getting either my first caravan or upgrading to an off-grid caravan? What are some of the nice things that you'd like to have in there to get you to places and give you those creature comforts when you're camping?
2 fridges and a home brew kit.
The important stuff.
Mate, that's a really good question, and the answer is, the things that I would put in there are not the same things that other people would put in there, because it's the same as everyone's homes are different. They've got different layouts in their kitchens depending on whether they like cooking or whether they like entertaining outside, inside, those sorts of things. I'm an outdoor living guy, so I would absolutely have a lot of kitchen stuff outside. I love a good slide out kitchen that's functional. I love a good slide out fridge outside, so you're not in and out of it, because I tend to go inside the van to go to bed and to have a shower, etc. But outside of that, I don't spend a lot of time living in the van, because I just enjoy sitting outside and watching the show that nature's put on for us, I suppose. There's always something to look at outside, but inside you've only got the telly, and you got to watch clowns like me on telly. My dad used to call it the idiot box, and now I work on it, so I must be the idiot.
Do you ever watch the show yourself? I mean, I know you said you're away 10 months of the year, but do you ever sit down and just critique yourself and think, gee, I should have said that, or I could have done this?
No. The only time I watch it is if I'm at mum and dad's, because mum and and it's actually not called What's Up Down Under at my mum's house. It's called Craig's Show. It's like
Craig Show.
Craig's Show's on.
Yeah, there you go. That's nice. Now, Macca, I've got to ask, we said before you've done the lap of Australia 3 times, never done it sober before. But I'm sure you've got a lot of memories, right?
Mail in, don't email in.
Don't email in. What's probably 2 or 3 of the best places you've been to? And, what could people expect if they were to go there?
Yeah, and that's a pretty common question I get, and I answer it like a politician, but this is an absolute honest answer. it depends on the time of the year. So one of my favourite places is in the Kimberley, and but I wouldn't want to be there in the middle. Like it's a pretty harsh environment. One of my favourite places is the Victorian High Country, but Queenslander, I wouldn't want to be there in the dead of winter either. So so from one extreme to the other, there, sort of from the northwest of Australia to the southeast, are two of my favourite places. But and spring or autumn, you could put me on any of the islands up the east coast. But honestly, I have, and like I say, it sounds like a politician's answer. I've not been to a bad place. I've always got a saying that if you want to go looking for the rubbish, you'll find the rubbish. But if you want to go looking for the gold, you'll find the gold. And town is someone's hometown, and they find something attractive about it. So if you go looking for what they find attractive, that's someone beeping the horn, but not at me, hopefully.
One of your fans, of course.
Oh, yeah, probably, mate. Yeah, probably.
What are you doing parking here?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what does the middle finger up mean? People like in front of the vehicle before looking at me thinking I was videoing them while they were working. So,
really?
Yeah, I was expecting them to come and knock on the window and I have to explain them what we're doing. That would have been pretty funny on the podcast. But everywhere, if you take the time and have a look around, meet the people, meet the locals, interact with them, you will find their treasures, and they all have treasures. That's why those towns exist for a reason. They were all developed, whether it was a place where there was water that they needed for the railway, or whether there was minerals, or whether it was just a big rural community that needed a hub to supply it. But if you go exploring, you'll find what makes every town tick, and there's always gold.
Mate, you said that like it was actually an episode of What's Up Down Under. Like that was a lifestyle piece in itself. Well done.
I was thinking halfway through, geez, that's profound.
Now, so tell us, Macca. I want to talk a little bit about the Macca rub. And I'm not talking, dirty or anything like that, but you've got your own barbecue rub out. Is that correct?
Yeah, I do, mate. Started about, probably 4 or 5 years ago now. And I actually put a post on Facebook one day saying, has anyone got a good recipe for a barbecue rub? Because I love cooking. I love cooking outside. I love cooking on the fire, the barbie, whatever. And this guy sent me a message saying, hey, I actually make rubs for competition barbecue teams, and I'd love to come to you for you to try. So he did, and we just got into a conversation where I said, no, all these rubs are all American flavors, hickory, bourbon, that low and slow that has become a real culture in Australia is driven by America. So I said, why doesn't someone make Aussie flavors? Like for Aussies on lamb, we don't have hickory and bourbon, we have mint and rosemary, So so we worked together and just come up with some flavors that I liked, and it started from there, mate. So from wanting to have a barbecue on a Saturday afternoon to having a range of barbecue seasoning rubs, who would have thunk, eh?
Who would have thought? Now, what's the most popular rub out there?
In my range, it's the beef, and I think it's just generally not because it's the best of them. The lamb's actually my favourite, but other people love the chicken. They're all good, but I think just generally in the Australian culture, we tend to eat more beef than the other proteins. So I think that's more than the others,
And if people want to actually grab one of the rubs, where would they actually get it from? Is it available at stores or just online?
Yeah, it's available just in butcher shops around Australia, but not all of them. They haven't all got on and stuff. If there's any butchers watching, you most well stock the rubs. If there's any camping stores, you've opened the gate, Tilly. I'm jumping through it.
Get in there, mate. Cash ching.
Yeah, for everyone else, just jump on the website, on my website, this is a tough one. You'll need a pen and paper. It's Macca's website. That's what it's called, Macca's website.
Oh, that's gold.
You know where that name came from, Tilly?
I'm going to take a look at it and say, Macca needs a website. Why don't we just call it Macca's website?
Exactly how it started. I was sitting in a cabin on a What's Up Down Under trip with a handful of people, one of which was Tanya Kernigan. And they're all telling me, this is probably 6 years ago, they're all telling me I needed a website. And I said, what do I need a website for? I don't get it. I actually still don't know why I need a website other than selling me rubs. It works there. But anyway, we're looking at domain names. What could you call it? And then Tanya Kernigan said, just call it Macca's website. You got me.
Works. I'll tell you what, though, it's a lot smarter of a choice than calling it Macca's rub, because people might think it's one of those websites.
I want to end up with an OnlyFans page.
Yeah, exactly right. Hey, that could be the next thing, Macca. You know, if COVID hits again, Macca's OnlyFans, or he could go off.
Keep your ideas to yourself, mate.
Now, Macca, before we go, I want you to tell us a story, because I've had a lot of chats with you along the way, and you always enlighten me with some of your stories. You just make us laugh. So I'm actually a big fan of your Instagram page. And I don't know how you come up with these memes, but they are hilarious, right? And I'll get you to tell us what your Instagram page is very shortly. But give us a little bit of a riddle, or a little bit of a story that, you know, we could just remember this chat by.
Oh, do you want something profound? Do you want something funny? Do you want something that makes you think? Give me a subject.
Oh, to tell you, can we do all of them? Can we put them all in like one big rub?
Oh, I don't know.
Put it this way, I want to laugh, right? But I also want you to make me think as well. All
right, then. So you're a bloke with a beard, so I can give you one that's not going to offend you, because everyone gets offended easily these days. But if your father hasn't got a beard, you've got two mothers. That'll get people going.
Yep.
What's something profound? Hey, here's one for you. I bring this out every now and then around the campfire. And I say, people talk about politics with left wing and right wing. Yep. And I say, I believe that politics are a little bit like nature. Everything's a bit like nature. And if a bird flies only using its left wing, it will go in circles. And if a bird flies only using its right wing, it will go in circles. But if it uses both its wings in a balanced manner, in unison, it will go wherever it wants to go. How's that for profound?
Mate, I'll tell you what, you've just surprised me with that. I didn't think you had that kind of a thought process, but you expect the unexpected when Macca's around, eh?
Exactly. You're lucky I've still got my clothes on, mate.
Well, you've got 14 of them, sitting in your wardrobe, so surely you've got clothes on. Now, Macca, if anyone wants to find out more about what you do, whether it be your rubs, I don't know, have you got an actual merchandise store yet for a Macca shirt? Are people allowed to buy them?
No, I haven't sold the shirts. No one's ever really wanted one, to tell you the truth. I should look into it, shouldn't I? Do you think anyone would want?
I'd buy one. I'd probably ask for one for free, but I'd still buy one.
You're doing one, so you're in luck.
I'll get one of the used ones, right? But in all seriousness, if people want to find out more about what you do, because like you said, you don't just, host a show on What's Up Down Under. There's a lot more to the Macca cap. Where do they find you? What's your platforms?
On Instagram, mate, it's Where's Macca?
Yeah.
Because originally I was just going to put, where I was, and I thought it's a bit of a wanker, like bragging about you out there having fun all the time while everyone's at work. So now I just put mostly funny stuff on there.
And that's the page I love.
Facebook's just Macca. You find me there. And my website, of course, Macca's website.
.com or .au? Are you international yet?
Nah. You know what's funny is that about 20% of my followers on social media are from overseas countries. So that's blowing me away. I never expected that to happen. So
I reckon if Macca ever did America, mate, they would be very, very entertained.
Would it be like Debbie Does Dallas, that style of?
I was actually more like as in like Steve Irwin style. But if you want to go down that path, Macca, I'll fly with you.
Sorry, I misunderstood the question.
Mate, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. And again, if anyone wants to find out more, where's Macca on Instagram, Macca on Facebook, and Macca's website.com.au. Give this guy a shout, give him a follow. Macca, thank you very much for joining us on the Off Grid podcast, and we'll catch you off the grid. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Off Grid podcast. If you're passionate about off-grid adventures and have a unique story, we'd love to have you on as a guest. Connect with us to share your experiences and inspire others with your off-grid journey. Remember, life is an adventure meant to be lived off the grid. Don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories, helpful tips, and exciting adventures. This is the Off Grid podcast powered by Retreat Caravans.